celebrate by figuring in Terry Venables' first England team on Wednesday. But points are of importance to his club today, and he's the nominated Tottenham penalty taker, even though he's one of 3 Spurs players to have a penalty saved in the last 2 games. Spurs keep the side that drew with Aston Villa, their first point of 1994. Gary Mabbutt restored to central defence, Sol Campbell at left back, because Justin Edinburgh has now joined a long injury list, which includes Teddy Sheringham. He faces a further operation on Tuesday, and without him, Spurs have won only 2 out of 20 Premiership matches. Sheffield United have yet to win 1 away from home this season. They recall Jostein Flue, their top scorer in attack, and alongside him they rely initially on the pacey Adrian Littlejohn, who scored twice against Spurs earlier this season. But new signing Nathan Blake from Cardiff is on the bench, and United have a potential World Cup goalkeeper. Alan Kelly is in the Ireland squad, named last night for a friendly against Russia, and if he performs well, it could earn him the #1 spot for the finals in the United States. David Allison of Lancaster is the man in charge on a pleasant afternoon with the sunshine reflecting across the rooftops of North London, but from basement to the top floor here at White Hart Lane there's a nervous concern, and this match isn't just about one team in trouble, it's about 2, because Sheffield United are as desperate for the points as Tottenham Hotspur, and it's Bradshaw to take the first throw. Gayle has arrived in the penalty area here. And it must be said that the Sheffield players are rather more used to relegation battles than the Tottenham men. Perhaps not Jostein Flue, but many of the others have been through them before. Samways. Now Whitehouse. And Walker coming well out. Doing well in goal, Ian Walker. In fact, Eric Torsved is just this week back in light training. Dave Bassett, hand to mouth, the Sheffield United manager, knows this London scene well. Gannon. Anderton, and Spurs a chance to spread out here. They've got Barnby going down the middle, and that's where it's gone, and he's in. It's Barnby, and it's a good save. Nick Barnby, a good run, and Alan Kelly will take credit for the stop. And a corner to Spurs, for which Scott is forward and Mabbutt. Sedgley's up 2. Well, if Kelly is going to play in goal in the World Cup in the summer, those kind of saves will do him no harm at all with Jack Charlton and Maurice Setters. They've got their eye very firmly on him. Maybe that Paddy Bonner's time is up, and this young man, coming from a famous goalkeeping family, his brother's on loan at West Ham at the moment, his father was an international. He deals very well with that shot from point-blank range. But here's Littlejohn, and Walker forced to save its car, and a block by Campbell. Corner. They appeal for hands, the Sheffield players. But Walker responded for Tottenham in much the same way as Kelly had at the other end for Sheffield. And Flue is there. Another good save. Jostein Flue got the header in, and Spurs have reason here to doubly thank their goalkeeper. Corner taken by John Gannon, and Jostein Flue getting in front of his marker. Whitehouse stretching. Anderton. Sedgley! Oh, straight at the goalkeeper, who was prostrate. Well, Sedgley's been getting in very well on that far post to Anderton's crosses recently. He scored at Chelsea, but I wonder when he looks back on that, whether he would have done anything different. Spurs had 2 in there, and they've also got a corner. Kelly was in the right place. I'm not sure how much he knew about that. And played short to Barnby. Anderton's cross. Sedgley's there again. And he's still there. And so is Scott. Well, that was something of a let-off for Sheffield United. Anderton was the player who crossed from the right. It went right along the 6-yard box, and he was trying to knock it back square for Barnby. That's broken for Anderton. It's where he can open things up for Tottenham. Fall the other way for him to find. It's come off Kamara. Samways, Austin. They're still lined up in there. Here comes Sedgley. Corner given. Must have come off Bradshaw. The Spurs have got some good headers of a ball in there. Dozzell, Scott, Mabbott, as Anderton prepares to take the corner. Oh, and Sedgley! Good save by Kelly. That was all about reactions. Sedgley for getting into the space, getting power into the header, and Kelly for tipping it over. Firm header and well dealt with. Corner again. And this time Mabbott thwarted by Kamara. Little shove there by Sol Campbell gives Sheffield United a free kick. United, as Ozzy Ardiles knows, can be a difficult team to break down. They've had 5 draws away from home, 4 of them 0-0, but they haven't won an away game in the Premiership. Flew, Hodges, Little John, away by Campbell to Anderton. It was Rosenthal who pulled to the right. It's still Rosenthal. And it's Dozzell! Oh, it's a good chance. Dean Austin is injured back in the Spurs penalty area. The reason the game has been stopped. But Ronnie Rosenthal, a powerful run down the right here. Look at the number of defenders, 7 of them. None of them could get anywhere near it. And Dozzell did with a header, which was straight at Kelly, really. And Dean Austin is bleeding quite badly from that cut and has had to run down the tunnel for presumably stitches. And it's rather looking as though that nose injury, from which he was bleeding quite badly, has caused Ozzy Ardiles to prepare a substitute. It's Darren Caskey. And so Austin is not coming back. Now that will mean Campbell staying at right back, Sedgley staying at left back now, and Caskey playing in midfield. Samways to Sedgley. Rosenthal. Sedgley goes again. Dozzell, Anderton. Oh, another fine stop by Kelly. That was brilliant. Well, Whitehouse did his best in the defensive area, but when it fell to Anderton, Kelly, for the 3rd time this afternoon, showed why he will be a World Cup goalkeeper. Corner to Spurs, Anderton to take it. Sheffield United have their goalkeeper to thank for keeping them on level terms. It was Rosenthal and Sedgley who set up the play on the left-hand side. Good cross by Steve Sedgley. Whitehouse beats Dozzell, but look at this. Tremendous reflexes again from Kelly. Anderton. Oh, here's Campbell. And it was a late challenge on the far side the referee was concerned about. What happened was that when Anderton released the ball, Glyn Hodges caught him, and the play has been pulled back to give Spurs a free kick in the last minute of the first half. So forward again go the central defenders. And this is Anderton. Oh, and there's a chance, and put over by Ronnie Rosenthal. And he was onside. Spurs just perhaps not finding that cutting edge when the chances come. Most of them being set up by Anderton here. Tried to place it with the inside of the left foot. And at half-time, no score between these relegation rivals, but Alan Kelly with 4 high-class saves. The best one from Darren Anderton has kept Tottenham out, and there were 2 good stops as well at the other end from his opposite number, Ian Walker. Well, the Tottenham doctor is stitching the wound of Dean Austin at half-time, and here's how he got the injury. Watch for the arm of Glyn Hodges as they compete for this ball. It makes contact with the face of Dean Austin, and that was a nasty injury. Lots been made of the absence of Sheringham for Tottenham. I just wonder how much Sheffield United have missed Brian Deane this season, who they sold to Leeds. Here's Tuttle in defence at the start of the second half. Deane was top scorer 4 seasons running at Bramall Lane, and this season's top scorer, Flew, has only 5. And all the more reason to wonder whether Dave Bassett will use Nathan Blake today, who's one of the subs. Here's Anderton for Spurs. Good running by Barmby. Dozzell's in the middle, and that's floating away. I understand Dean Austin had 5 stitches in that facial wound, which ruled him out of the rest of the match. Tuttle. And over on the far side is Flew. Scott goes to challenge. Early cross. Little John foiled by Mabbott. Great defending. Now they've got Gayle up for the corner. It's played short to Carr. Little back heel puts Hodges in. Driven in low, there's a goal! It's Brian Gayle who scored it, the captain. And Sheffield United take the lead after 11 minutes of the second half. And what a weekend it's been for Dave Bassett, skipper. Brian Gayle, number 5. 29 tomorrow, and presented with a baby son by his wife only yesterday. He's in the right place to celebrate here. It's Hodges who gets in to the post, and Gayle just sticks a foot out, and that's Sheffield United in front. Well, this goal could mean a lot to the Yorkshire club. Gayle gets in front of his marker there to stab it in, and Spurs, who've not won at home for 5 months in the league, find themselves 1 down at White Hart Lane, and badly require a boost to their confidence, because Sheffield are away again with Carr, and Little John square him if he needs him, and Franz Carr surely, and no, and Flew, no, hits Campbell, and there's a foul by Hodges, but that should have been 2-0, and that should have been a second goal, as Carr will know. He had so much time and room, and Spurs were all over the place. It's 2 against 1 there. He goes round Walker, but gets a bit tight to the line, and in trying to play it back, Sedgley gets a touch, and then Flew's shot comes back off the bodies. Foul by Hodges in the end, but Carr had the opportunity. Hodges. And that's Scott away from Little John. Corner to Sheffield United. Well, they've taken over here, and Spurs at this moment really don't know whether they're coming or going. Flew! Oh, just wanted a touch. Flew knocked it on, and Little John almost poked it in at the post. Now, who is going to pull this round for Tottenham, if anybody? This is where the absence of more experienced players. But here's one, Rosenthal. Free kick. He's got to carry some responsibility now to make sure that the younger players' heads don't drop. But here is opportunity for Tottenham. It's a free kick, Sedgley forward. Scott's there! Yes! The equaliser, Kevin Scott, with his first goal for Spurs. And what a moment to produce it. And how badly it was needed. The former Newcastle player puts Ossie Ardiles in an altogether better frame of mind here. Dave Bassett's team see their lead wiped out from the free kick. Tottenham are back in business thanks to a well-placed header, beautifully directed by Kevin Scott. And the crowd respond. Barmby. Well, we had 7 minutes there when Sheffield United, having taken the lead, threatened to wipe Tottenham out of the match, but just look what's happened now. Here's Samways. Good effort, even though Sedgley to his left was screaming for a pass. Spurs have survived what was a traumatic few minutes when they could easily have gone 2-0 down, and they're back on terms and could have done even more here, as Vinnie Samways lined up the left foot shot and it was rising. Well, Sheffield United did the game a favour by scoring, because it's been non-stop action since then. Whether they did themselves a favour is a debatable point, because in not taking the opportunity to go 2-0 up, they allowed Tottenham to come back with a vengeance. Gayle again. Oh, and Littlejohn, and away by Campbell. It was a bit of a lottery in there again. Here's Whitehouse. And Walker gets in front of Flew. Tuttle was underneath it, it's come to Barmby. And it's still Nicky Barmby. It's a real chance, this, Dozzell. Oh, they just wanted to over-elaborate in their Spurs. There was a point at which they might even have a penalty if he'd gone down. This is Campbell. No. Sheffield United are going to give their recent signing from Cardiff City, Nathan Blake, his second substitute appearance. Littlejohn is the player making way for him. Blake, whose goals at Cardiff, 17 in all this season, included the winner in the Cup against Manchester City, now gets his chance in the Premiership. Gannon. Dozzell. Oh, it's well won there by Kamara. Great tackle on Rosenthal. And here comes Blake. It's Nathan Blake. Oh! And he's done it. Sheffield United are in front again. And the new signing, in only his second match and barely 20 minutes at that, of either of them, has shown why Dave Bassett paid Cardiff the money. What a good finish. But there was an excellent interception by Kamara, which put Ossie Ardiles' team in terrible trouble in their own half. Kamara really got the thing moving, and when the ball was laid into Blake, Mabet couldn't get there, and that's his first goal for Sheffield United, and what a valuable one it might prove to be. Spurs behind for the second time, and only 4 minutes to go. It was a rapier thrust, and when it came through to Blake, well, that's the kind of finishing he showed in the Cup against Manchester City, wasn't it, for Cardiff? Well, we're sitting on quite a story here now. Sheffield United have not won away all season. They are now within a couple of minutes of doing so. Spurs have not won here since early October, and it doesn't look as if they will today either. Here's Kasky. The best they can hope for now is to salvage a point, and Rosenthal hangs his head. Dear, dear, things are getting worse. And look where Walker's come, and responsibility was taken by Mabbott, now it's taken by Samways. And they've got 5-6 white shirts strung across the pitch, Tottenham, in a desperate attempt to save the game. 7 attackers now, this is Campbell. Barmby. Right across, oh, and it was Scott who failed to make contact for what could have been his second. Nothing wrong with the cross. It flew over the 6-yard box, and Scott just underneath his foot. Sheffield United want to make a second substitution in the last minute. Kevin Gage to come on in place of Glyn Hodges. That uses up a few seconds on the watch of David Allison, and we are about to go into stoppage time here as Gage comes on. Kasky, Rosenthal, and the red and white striped shirts all come back into their own half. Sensing what? Here's Rosenthal. Kelly's goalkeeping a feature of the first half, and Rosenthal hasn't managed to beat him. Samways. This is Kasky. And the through ball looks for Barmby. It's come off Gayle, but Barmby's there. Can he get it? Pull it back for Rosenthal. Dozzell! Yes! Jason Dozzell! In stoppage time, it's 2-2. And Spurs look as though they've saved a point. And Aussie Ardiles will know there was no time to spare. Rosenthal involved, but they're level with Barmby here, putting Brian Gayle in trouble. The goalkeeper came an awful long way. I thought for a minute he was going to concede a penalty. Good play by Barmby, then Rosenthal, and there's Dozzell. And that's 2-2. And here comes Blake for Sheffield United. Carr. Awkward as Flew goes in with the goalkeeper, but it was a foul. Well, I don't think I've seen a more exciting second half this season. Look at the crowd on their feet. Ronnie Rosenthal says, come on, we can still win this, depending how much time the referee adds on. But surely that's it. It's going to be a point apiece, and Sheffield United, who led twice, will really see it as 2 points dropped. Dave Bassett's team, Tottenham, will see it as one rescued when they looked to be a beaten side, but they never allowed that to affect them, and Mabbott kept them going. Both teams will still be in some difficulty in the league, but goodness me, for two sides at the wrong end of the table, they gave us a highly entertaining afternoon.